All right, what's going on today on the podcast? We got Max Nassowitz. What's going on, dude?
What's up? What's going on, brother? Happy to be here.
All right, what's going on today on the podcast? We
Every
got
day.
Max Nassowitz. What's going on, dude?
For sure, brother.
Yeah, man, I had a little bit of technical difficulties getting on, but I'm glad we got everything squared away. So, Max, man, I just got introduced to you recently, so I'm learning a little bit.
Yeah, so we were connected through one of my old teammates at
you
Springfield
as we kind of
College.
go.
But
So,
I'm
along with the
Max. I'm
listeners and
29 years
myself,
old.
looking to kind
I'm a
of hear a
retired
little more
professional
about your
football
background. What
player.
do you got going
Now
on,
I
and
own a
what are
strength and
you up
conditioning
to?
business focused around developing athletes. We've kind of found a niche with lacrosse players. I was super pumped to hop onto this podcast because it talks about side hustles, and I've been a huge advocate of that my whole life. But ever since I retired, my main focus has been, putting that same effort and discipline into the business world, trying to meet like-minded people, and still stay in shape and have a lot of those same principles that I did from a football standpoint. But I'm excited to dive into this a little more, and hopefully the viewers get something out of it. Yes, I played football my whole life. I was fortunate that I had an older brother that really pushed me, and I grew up in a
Yeah,
neighborhood
totally.
where we had
And
enough kids to
share
do
with
like
me a
seven
little
on
bit
seven.
about
So
your
every
experience
snow
with
day we were
football.
playing football, and I just like found myself on the football field, man. I felt at home, and I always looked up to the older kids who were putting in the work in the off season, and it was cool to see how you could transform your body just by putting the right nutrition in, training, outworking everyone. And I was originally going to play college lacrosse. I had a bunch of Division I offers, but there was just something with football. I couldn't like let it go. So I was a little late in the recruiting game. So I decided to go to Springfield College in Massachusetts. I'd enrolled in their exercise science program. I was there for 4.5 years, and I had the time of my life. I met some of my best friends there. I pushed my body to the absolute limit. I was fortunate to be a three-time captain and two-time All-American, and I was able to play football all around the world. I played in Canada. I played in arena football in Florida and Albany. I played in Germany. I played in Spain. Uh, Finally hung up the cleats about a year and a half ago, but it was just an amazing journey, and a lot of those principles and the discipline that I learned, I take that into kind of my everyday life. I mean, this morning I was up working out, and it's just crazy when you instill those habits at a young age. It just doesn't leave you. So I owe a tremendous amount of everything I've achieved to football and some of the coaches I've had along the way. Yeah,
Yeah, man, sounds like an incredible time.
baby Hulk, that's my boy
It must
right
have been
there.
sweet, like traveling around and playing everywhere. You said that we were connected through Austin and through Springfield, right? Shout out to Austin if he's listening right now. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So I've always been in the training
So
world,
and
right?
so lacrosse also has been part
It's
of
something that was
your
very
life,
natural to me. I
and
love
that's what you
developing
predominantly
athletes.
focus
I
on
fell
now,
in love
right? You
with
want to
that.
share a little bit about what's going
The
on
off the
with
field
you in
stuff.
the
There was
lacrosse
a
world?
time where I almost enjoyed the off season more than the actual season. I loved like going to the vitamin shop and getting a new supplement, or training and developing. Like, how can this improve my performance? So I started consulting with athletes, and when you're in that industry, there's like a misconception you can't make any money, and in some element that is true, right? If you're a one-on-one client and you're working at a gym, it's really hard to scale your time, right? Because you can only make money when you're with that one client. Usually the club is taking some. So I have a business partner, and we'll get more into that down the conversation. But he really opened my eyes to like how to make this stuff scalable, and we found our niche in the lacrosse world because it's a very affluent sport. Those parents are willing to invest in their kids, and they understand that for them to be successful, it's got to be an all-in type situation. You're in the training world, I'm in the training world. The worst is when you get a client that is in the middle. It's not beneficial to us who's working with them or them, just because no one gets results in the middle. You've got to be in, or you got to be all in. And we've structured packages that only facilitate those two options. And it's been successful because the kids want to see results, the parents want to see results. And if there's an ROI, no matter what your price is, people are going to pay that. And we've been successful with that. And we've also had some really good connections in the lacrosse world that I can get into, and it's led to a lot of opportunities. But it's cool. I always thought I'd be training football guys and all that, but I fell into this niche. It kind of revitalized my love in the lacrosse world. And there's definitely a physicality element to lacrosse. So it's not like a soft sport. You definitely have to be, you got to be able to lower your shoulder when the time is right, but you got to be an athlete. So there's a lot of skill development involved with it as well.
Definitely. Yeah,
100%.
and I love what you said about having to really tailor it down to the kind of athletes who are really committed, and they know that it's best for them to be putting in the work
Yeah.
and kind of grinding. Because I know that it can totally burn you out. It's a waste of time for everybody when their heart's not in it, and then it makes it that much more difficult for you to kind of get them going. So I totally see that. So
Yeah, I mean,
what kind of
I would
brought
say
you
one of the
specifically
biggest
to
factors
lacrosse?
was
Because you said you
when I
thought you were
partnered
going to be
with
doing a
my
lot of
current business
football.
partner,
Lacrosse was
TJ
in your
DiMartino.
background. What was it kind of
One of
shifting
my best
that made
friends, and
you
it's kind of a
focus
funny
so
story
more
how
on
we met. So
lacrosse?
I was a freshman at Springfield College, and he was a senior. And I remember we were like in stretching lines, and he started talking to me. And when football guys will get this, but when you're a freshman and a senior comes up to you, it's usually not good, right? They're going to like haze you or something's going to happen. But he was like really cool. He's like, yo, what's up, man? Like, like you look like a meathead. And we just like connected over that. And then every time before lift, we'd be in my room, and I had like 100 supplement bottles in my dorm room. We make like these concoctions with beta alanine, caffeine. I mean, it was like a little chemist in there. And I met him when I was 18, and now I'm 29. He's been my best friend. And so he trained a girl named Kylie O'Miller. She's like the LeBron James of women's lacrosse. She's like one of the best lacrosse players in the world. And it opened up a lot of connections. And we just got introduced to another person and then another person. And I was in Connecticut with my training company. It was mostly football guys, one or two lacrosse kids, but like really my bread and butter was football. And we just started getting introduced to more people in the industry. And we slowly started increasing our prices, and we would do these subscriptions. And we're like, dude, no one's going to pay that. And someone paid that. And then we raised a little more. Dude, no one's going to pay that. And someone paid that. And we just keep raising it. But at the same time, we're providing so much value for these clients because we have a team now. And so I think it was just a combination of just, I have one of my mentors had a really good quote. It's being at the right place at the right time. Everyone knows that, but with the right preparation. So this whole time we were preparing exercise science, training football kids for $50, $100 an hour. And then we get thrown into this lacrosse world where there's obviously very affluent families who want the best and will pay for the best, and they'll go all in. And we were there. We found the right partnerships, and it's been successful. And I just, like I said, totally revitalized my love for the game.
Yeah, I love that too, and especially since it's
Yeah,
kind
so
of
me and
growing and scaling
TJ, we talked about doing this for
essentially
years.
naturally on
I
its
mean,
own. You
since
just
like
kind of there's no
COVID and
like
all
pressure for
that.
you. You're
So
just kind of
it's been
going flowing with
like
that.
a
Tell me
lot
a
of
little bit about your
working in the
team that you
making.
got
But
putting together
I'd
with.
say we went like full out January 1. We moved in together like December in Long Island, and we got connected with a gentleman named Casey Powell. Anyone who's in the lacrosse world will recognize him. He's one of the greatest lacrosse players to ever play. And it was surreal because me and my friends would go to his camps growing up as kids. And, there was Mikey, Casey, and Ryan, and those dudes were like the shit. And he still gets recognized all the time. And he's an amazing dude, unbelievable business partner. But we went all in, and we looked at each other. I'm 29, he's 32. I go, bro, like let's go all out with this. We don't have any kids, we don't have any girlfriends, and we basically looked at each other and said, we're gonna go just like ham for 36 months. All we're gonna do is grow this business, and unless one of us croaks or gets married, like nothing's stopping this. So we kind of made like a handshake deal, like 3 years, go as hard as we can. Let's see what we can turn this into. And in 5 months, I think we far exceeded what our expectations were and what this company can do. It started out with me and him, and now there's I think 5 people full time. We've got one guy on the back end, Keith. He handles all the programming through Trainerize. We were lucky enough to snag someone from Equinox. He was with Equinox for over 12 years. His name's Mark Safer. He went to school with us as well. And he's been really good from an operational standpoint of taking what worked at Equinox and what didn't work, applying it to our company. We've got another guy, Roger Bernardino. He's a king with startups. He started up a company called One Huddle. And so he's kind of been consulting with us with some of the startup growing pains. And then we've got about 10 summer coaches for the summer. And these range from college girls that are living and traveling with us to all the events to some coaches that are more positioned in Long Island and Colorado, where some of our hubs are. So it's nice because we're not doing like everything. I remember when we first started, I had 5 emails, right? Because I was the CFO, the COO, and then I would my other name was Gloria. I was the full-time assistant, because I'd say, yeah, our assistant will get over to you, and I had to like act as Gloria. So I'm sending email to this person that I just spoke to, sending over a contract. So it definitely frees up some real estate in your head and allows us to focus on more creative type projects. And it's awesome because we're able to give people opportunities. We've got 3 girls that just came down and they have like summer internships with us, and they're so eager to learn, and they offer a huge element of just like trends, right? College kids are always on their phone, and they could say, hey, this is kind of a trend in this college. We should look into this for social media. So having the right team is absolutely everything. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love that too. One of the major pillars that I talk about in my coaching program is
Dude,
making sure that you
absolutely.
surround yourself
Yeah.
with other winners. And it sounds like you're literally doing that. And having some of the best people around you is just exponentially boosting your business, it sounds like. So that's incredible. And it sounds like it's moving pretty smoothly. Since targeted a lot of the focus on our podcast here is to kind of shine some light on some struggles or some sacrifices that you might have had down the road on the way to getting to this smooth spot. Do you have anything
Yeah.
that comes to mind where it might have
It's
been
funny,
a little
man,
bit
because
of a
when you're in
struggle
your
or a
20s,
sacrifice to
older
yourself
people
where
will tell you like,
things
oh,
weren't
your
moving as
20s, you're
smoothly
figuring
as
shit
maybe
out
you
and
were
all
moving
this. And
before, or as
like,
it
I
was
always
kind of
hated
getting
that
rolling?
response because I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I want to know now, like, what am I supposed to do? And I think the best pieces of advice would be, don't live in your head. Go and try that thing that you're thinking about. And I was guilty of that early on. I would think in my head, well, like, you know what, I like that job, or would I like that career? And I'm just imagining things in my head. I'm not actually going out and doing it. And I think when you take that action, a couple things, if you like it or you don't like it, you learn a new skill that will help you down the road. And it just provides clarity. So, I mean, to get to this point, I had a lot of jobs that I did not enjoy. There was opportunities that I might have messed up, but I don't really believe in regrets, because I think when you make a decision at that time, and I've always trusted my gut, you made the decision with the appropriate amount of information, and it made sense. And then looking back, you realize all those experiences shaped you to be the coach, the business person that you are now. And it's just crazy to think, like, day to day when we're doing things from an operational standpoint, I'll just pull from like, damn, that one job I had this summer, like that one skill that I learned, I'm able to apply it to this. So there's definitely an element of figuring it out. You can try to learn from other people's mistakes, but I'm the type of person where, unfortunately, I've got to experience something like, oh shit, that does not work, and then apply it to the day to day. But I just think, don't get discouraged. No one's life trajectory is like this, and if they are, they're a liar and they've got no backbone. You've got to eat shit. You've got to have adversity. You've got to be a little anxious, and that's what gives you grit. And you've got to have grit. And we look for that when we hire people internally in the company. I think another one of my core philosophies, I don't believe in work-life balance. I think it's a total myth. I think you make a decision and then you live with it. And you got to be willing to sacrifice things. I have plenty of friends who are married and have kids, and they have beautiful dogs and all that. And that's an awesome life. And I want to have that one day. I hope to find a wife and have some kids. But for the next 36 months, that's not even one thought in my head. I just don't want that. I want to grow this business. I want this business to be successful. And then when I have a family and kids, we can do whatever we want. And I don't want money to ever be an issue with my family. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, dude, I love that too, because I know personally in my own life, and I know a lot of other people who've kind of gone down that same kind of like route where indecision kind of locks them up
Hmm.
and then they get stuck. And if you were to just make a decision, even if hindsight
Yeah,
it was a bad decision, at
yeah,
least
yeah.
you learn from it and you're
So,
moving. Too many times people are getting locked up like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Do I have to do this? Where do I go? And that really just
Dude,
for
absolutely.
people are getting locked up, like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Do I have to do this? Where do I go? And that really just prevents them from moving. And I love how you're committed to the business right now, and you prevents them from moving.
Yeah, I
And I
think
love how
it's
you're
learning how to
committed to the
multiply
business right
ourselves,
now.
right?
And you
Because
said
we
you
were
want
in
to be a
a
family
position where
person
me and
down the
TJ would
road,
be at every
but you're
session,
committed to the
and
next
TJ's the
36 months. And
mastermind
you're
of the
only 5
programming. I
months
mean, he
into
is like
this
the best
36
in the
month
business with that, and I've
challenge,
learned a
right?
lot from him with that. I've always been
Yeah,
like more
dude,
on the
like
finance side, and
I'm
I'll help
excited
out
to
with
see
stuff on
where
the
it's going
weight
to
room.
go for you
But we're in a
in
position
the
now where we
next
need
like
everyone in
year
the company
even.
to
It's
help
going to
out with
just like
sessions, just because we have
multiply
so
and
much demand
amplify.
with clients. But our
With
main
that being
goal this
said,
summer
dude,
is we need to
what
get
so you
coaches
got a lot of
leveled
stuff
up,
going on
and
this
that will
summer.
allow us
What
to always be
specifically
training
is something
or
that you
have
guys are
sessions or
working on
whatever we want
this
to call it
summer? Was it with
in
certain
Colorado,
athletes you
in
guys got
Florida,
like
and
that
Long
you guys are
Island. And the
working
summer's
on
so key
this
because
summer? Was it with
yes, kids
certain
have
athletes you
camps
guys
and they're
got
doing
some
stuff
kind of
like that,
camp
but everyone's
subscription
home for
thing,
the
or
summer,
what do you got going
right?
on?
So there's so much
Camp
market share
subscription
up for
thing, or
grabs
what do
that
you
we
got
can
going
grab.
on?
And if we're just in Florida, we're doing a disservice to Long Island and Colorado, and we're leaving money on the table. So I would say that's the biggest thing. We're learning how to remove ourselves from the business. And we've done a good job with developing systems. And that gentleman, Mark from Equinox, has been huge with that, right? We're trying to avoid people asking the same questions or us having, we say that we have a rule in our company, like we don't have recycled conversations. If there's an issue, like it gets corrected. And then there's a procedure in place that we can reference, whether it's like going to the Google Drive. So I think learning how to remove ourselves and still have the company be profitable, that's like next level what we're doing. And we're going to do that by onboarding and training the right people. Yeah, so we obviously want people that we see a little bit of ourselves in. We want gritty people. And I always say, I don't want Google people. And when I say I don't want Google people, if I ask someone a question or I'm paying like a professional for information and the information they provided is something that I could Google, why am I like, what value are they bringing? I could just replace them with Chat GBT or a piece of AI that I'm sure is going to be produced. So we want people that can think freely, people that are contrarian, and we need like witty people that think on the fly because our schedule literally changes like by the minute. I mean, even today we got clients in Miami, but then we got to catch a flight to Colorado, and we got 6 people flying in, and we got to orchestrate the cars and the hotels, and we got a session Friday morning. Like it's chaos, but you've got to be able to learn to live in the chaos. So I think we almost look for non-traditional people. Obviously, having an athletic background is beneficial because at the end of the day, we're catering to high-end athletes, and they need to know what it's like to be in their shoes so they can consult with them appropriately. But I would say athletes who are gritty, contrarian, and just know how to think freely. Dude, and that was one of our Achilles
I love
heels
that, dude.
early
Yeah,
on.
that
I mean, there'd be 4 or 5 days where we just wouldn't go to the gym. We just wouldn't have the time. And I hate that excuse because I
I
guess
love
everyone has
that,
the
dude.
time.
Yeah,
But dude,
that's going to
we were
make
just
things so
cooked at the end
efficient
of the
for
night,
you.
mentally
And
and
when you're in the
physically.
process
You
of
just want to
onboarding,
eat and
it's
go to
going to make
bed.
things so
But we've
efficient
been
for you.
fortunate as the
And
team
when you're in the
grew that
process
we've
of
gotten
onboarding
way better with our
people, like
scheduling.
who are you
And
looking
we're in a
for
position
to
now where
hire
TJ and I
specifically?
wake
Is it
up
like
and like
just ex
someone's telling
athletes?
us
Are you
what to do.
looking for
We know during
people
this
with
block
like
we're working on
CSCS,
this. If
or
we have a new
what is
client, we
the
have to do
athletes? Are
this.
you looking
So that
for
removes that
people with
thinking
like
part of like, what
CSCS,
am I
or
supposed to be doing right now?
what is he
Someone's
looking
telling
for
us
in
what
these
to do.
people?
Like we're now held accountable, which is super helpful because I think anyone internally in a company needs a level of
Looking for in
accountability,
these people?
right? The boss, the CFO, whatever your role is, you have to be accountable to someone. And we also looked at it, the healthier we are, the more money this company is going to make. And we see it with the decision making. And we're very disciplined from that sense. I mean, I haven't had a sip of alcohol in over 3 years. I don't do drugs. I don't do tobacco. I just drink a lot of coffee throughout the day. I follow a really clean diet, and we make it a point to get a massage every single week. And we look at it like we're professional athletes in the business world now, right? If I feel good, if I have more mental clarity, I can be on a call longer. I can construct a better email. I can do more client facing activity. Where someone who's out been drinking and boozing all night, I'm gonna eat their lunch, because that they're gonna take 46 hours to recover until they're at their point. And TJ and I realized that. And the same thing with our diet. I go, if we're in shape, we make more money. If we're eating like shit and not taking care of our bodies, this company loses money. We make poor decisions. So it's a different motivation. I used to be motivated by, well, I want to bench 405 so I could steamroll people on the football field. Now I want to be 215 and have really good blood work so I can make a lot of money and have this company be very successful. So it's the same level of discipline. We just applied it to a different domain. Yeah, so we've gotten better. We actually just partnered with Lifetime Fitness down in Boca Raton, and we're able to use all the facilities throughout the country. And it's cool because we're opening up another pod in Boca over the summer, so we're going to have people train out of there. They got amazing turf, but it's 10 minutes from where we're staying. So we try to get there at least 5 days a week. And a training session for us could be, we're doing sprints on the field, we're doing some sort of like plyos, and then a circuit, but then we'll finish in like the steam room in the sauna, and we'll do a stretching session, and then we'll hydrate a lot. So it's a split between, we're doing a little bit of bodybuilding type movement, and then we're doing athlete training, because we want to walk the walk with our
Nice.
athletes. We'll
Yeah,
do
and it
some of the
sounds like
training sessions before we put it through, just to gauge, do we need to crank this up a little bit? How are they going to feel? And
nice.
then
Yeah,
sometimes you
and
got to
it
come out of
sounds like your
retirement and show the
life is
show the
kind of
young bucks,
organized
what it's
chaos
like
right
to
now
work.
with
So
everything.
we,
So how
we,
do
we do a
you
little bit
still
of
find
that to,
time
spark
to
the
get to the gym, get
spark the
your lifts in? How do
competitiveness.
you
But
your
it's definitely not an
life is kind
everyday
of
thing.
organized
But when I
chaos
was an
right
athlete,
now
I would
with
train two
everything?
to three
So
times
how
a
do
day.
you still
So
find
at this
time
point, I just
to
want to feel good and be
get to
really
the gym,
healthy.
get your
And
lifts
we
in? How do
found that
you
5 days a week
how do
of
you find time
doing
for
something in that
content
domain
like
is
PT
really
units
really
for yourself?
beneficial.
Like where do
But
you find
even on our
how do
off
you
days,
find time for
we're getting
content
some
like
type of
PT
body work
units
done.
for yourself?
We're
Like where do
going
you
for a
find the time
walk.
for
We're
this stuff?
stretching, even just taking a little bit of time just to meditate. Right, we're recharging for another work day. So I'm a huge advocate of doing something every day for your body. Yeah, I love journaling, right? Because in your head, I call it like the monkey part of your brain. It can just be chaos, and it can stress you out. It can give you anxiety. But when you like put it on a piece of paper, like, all right, it's not that bad. I feel like you almost reverse engineer it, and you can organize some of the clutter in your head. But I use an app called Insight Timer, and they've got a lot of good meditations on there. I usually do one before bed. I used to like watch Netflix or be on my phone, but literally what I do now, almost like a psychotic person, but it helps me. I'll do like this 30-minute meditation, and I'll just lay down with it in the background. I almost like just organize my thoughts. It's kind of called like recycling your brain. I'll just do like a little recap, like, all right, how did today go? Like, what do I have to do coming up? And what I've noticed is like my anxiety is like non-existent. I just feel I have a lot of clarity, and I just wake up and I know what I'm doing. I'm executing, and it's just like kind of taking that time for yourself. I feel like too many people are very distracted all day, and that's very intentional. They don't want to face what's going on in their head, and it takes time because people's minds race. But the average person can't sit with their thoughts for like more than 5 minutes. They got to move. They got to do something. There's some internal conflict, right? So I built up my talents. I could sit like a monk for 3 hours. I'm very comfortable with what's going on in my head. And when I was playing football, you know, I would lean with my head, right? But now my brain's making me money, so I gotta take care of it. I gotta make sure everything's filtered through. And mentally, if you're not on point, nothing you do in the gym matters. That's where everything stems from. Yep.
Mm, mm,
I just think I wanted to like face what was going on in my head, because there would be periods in my life where my mind would just race, and it always stems from something, right? I always say like our emotions are lying to us, right? There's always something physiologically which is going on, and humans hate uncertainty. And when you're in your 20s, there's a lot of uncertainty. Should I take this job? Am I done with football? I'm dating this girl. Is it going to work out? There's just all that uncertainty, and it causes a lot of clutter in your brain. So it started with walks. I would just go for a walk, and I would just try to organize my thoughts. Like, all right, what's going on? And they're like, how can I face this or organize what's going on in my head? And then I've done like a lot of research on sleeping optimal, and then all this stuff with the blue light. I mean, I think the evidence is clear that that's going to disrupt your sleeping patterns. And I sleep amazing. We just partnered actually with Aura Ring. We're going to get everyone in the company Aura Ring so we can
Yeah,
track
I
their
love
sleep.
that, dude.
But I know for a fact when I do that meditation
Yeah,
for
I
30
love
minutes
that,
in the
dude.
pitch black, and it's just
In
me and
terms
my
of training,
me
how
laying down,
frequently are
organizing
you
my
getting
thoughts
your
with that in the
workouts
background,
each week?
I sleep
In
exceptionally
terms of
better
training, how frequently are
versus
you getting your
me on my
workouts
phone or
each
like
week?
watching Netflix and then trying to go to bed. I wake up, I'm just groggy, I'm not as organized. So I think it just started with the walks and then it transitioned to having a really good nighttime routine. And I think that leads into you just having a very productive day from the start. Yeah. Yeah. So my business partner PJ, he's big with that stuff. So he's had the Whoop, he does the Garmin, he's got the heart rate monitors, and he's found a lot of success with Oura Ring. And so I always have a business mind. I reached out to them, and we were able to agree to a partnership where everyone internally is going to get a ring, and then on top of that, we're going to get every one of our athletes, if they choose a certain package, that's just going to be baked into their membership, and we're able to use that user dashboard, and we could take all of that data and help make better decisions on their programming. But as far as what we do is, I'm a huge proponent of getting blood panels, right? So people could say, well, this diet's the best for me. Well, no, this training program is the best for me. First of all, there's nothing that's the best for everyone. Everything is individualized. And the only way to truly tell that is like, what is your blood work telling you? Right. So our higher end athletes, we have that baked into their membership as well, where they're getting blood panels. We're tracking all their macros and everything, but we like to make decisions based off data, right? They might feel a certain way, but like, what's the blood telling us? What kind of data are we getting from the Aura Ring and their readiness score? So we use a combination of all those tools to get as much data as possible, and then we can adjust based off what's coming back from that. But blood work, Aura Rings, I mean, the more the better. DEXA scans, we love those, and because we're not guessing, we're finding a plan and we're executing with them.
Yeah, I love that you just brought up meditation because I was going to
Yeah.
ask you about that. If maybe you just take some time.
Yeah, I think listen, I mean, you could ask some of
Yeah,
my
I love
college
that
roommates. I
you
used to
just
have a
brought up
tackle box
meditation because I
of
was going to
supplements.
ask you
I
about
almost took
that.
100 pills a
If
day at
maybe
my
you just
peak.
take some time
So I think part
mentally
of
for
that was
yourself when you're
placebo,
getting one of those
right? I
massages, or do
loved that
you
edge. And I also
make sure
read a book.
time mentally for
It was Bill
yourself when you're getting
Romanowski's
one of those massages, or
autobiography.
do
And
you
that really
make
inspired me.
sure
I
that
think I
you do
read that
some kind
after
of
my freshman
journaling,
year in
or what,
college.
like
And
what is your
that guy
mindset
just
type
took
of
human physiology to
work
the
kind
next
of that
level.
you do?
And
Some
I
kind of
really became
journaling,
obsessed
or
with that stuff.
what is your
So
mindset type
I think
of
supplements
book
100%.
kind of look
But
like?
I'm very basic with the supplements. If a guy came up to me and, I want to get this
Love
test booster and all this crazy stuff, I would say, dude, invest in the best nutrition possible. And then we'll focus on a couple core supplements. But athletes are very deficient in things. It could be vitamin D, it could be iron, it could be it could be a couple other key nutrients. And we would not know that with any of the blood panels. So for the higher end athletes who take one of our packages, we just bake that in. Hey, before we make a supplement recommendation, let's see where your levels are at. Are you deficient in anything? And then we can prescribe appropriately, get you to the right levels. We love using Thorne. That's another company that we have a relationship with. I think they have some of the highest quality kind of over the counter supplements, fish oils, multi, AM, PM. We've had a lot of success with them. And then we utilize a couple other sports nutrition supplements, but everyone's situation is different. The way we're going to train a lacrosse girl is completely different than a defensive end who's coming off the edge trying to get to the quarterback. So we pride ourselves on, I mean, we've got a tremendous amount of clients right now. We've probably got 1,000 clients all over the country, maybe even more than that. But Every single one of them has an individual plan, and they're executing on it every day. Yeah, so we definitely work with other athletes. Really anyone, if someone's located in one of our hubs right now, and right now we're based out of New York, Southern Connecticut, Florida. So when I say Florida, it's West Palm all the way down to Miami, with a little bit in Wellington, and then the Denver, Boulder area. If you're in any of those hubs, we can set up something in person. We have a whole division which focuses on remote training. We've had a lot of success with that. We do sessions over Zoom. We have some clients who just want to utilize the online training platform and do some things on their own. But we have an Instagram. It's TBD Lacrosse. And then I have my Instagram, my partner's Instagram. And then we're also launching like a summer pack, because we've totally revamped the membership. It kind of goes back to what we spoke about originally. We used to offer 4 packages. We were kind of trying to be like Tesla, right? We got four cars, and these are the ones you can choose from. But we've actually narrowed it down to 2, right? So we have our enterprise package, and we have our premium package. And so, like I said, you're either in or you're all in. And if you're not either of those, you can just buy a bundle of packages that will sell to you. And it's not going to come with all the bells and whistles, but everyone's situation is differently. But I'll leave all the social links in like the link from the podcast, and people can reach out to us that way. But we also, we don't want to just work with anyone. It's got to be the right fit. And we've had to turn people down in the past that weren't going to help this brand or this company, because if we put our stamp of approval on someone
Yeah, dude,
and
I love
they're
that
not
you
representing the
up
company well,
saying
that's going to
that
make
you
us
kind of
look
go.
bad. So we do look for
Yeah,
the
dude,
right
I
fit.
love
It's got to
that
be the right
you up
family.
saying that you
And
kind of go through a
if that
mental
aligns,
recap of
we
the
would love to
day.
welcome them.
I don't know where I kind of came up through a mental recap of the day. I don't know where I kind of came up with that idea, but that's something that I've
Yeah,
been doing myself, and I feel like it's helped a lot. Come up with that idea, but that's something that I've been doing
definitely,
myself,
bro.
and I feel like it's helped a lot. Do you know where you first came across that by any chance, or is that just something you might have just kind of picked up randomly?
Listen to your gut. Never
Wow.
put
Do you
anyone
know
on a
where you
pedestal.
first
I've
came
been very
across that by
fortunate
any
to
chance,
meet
or
a
is
lot
that
of
just something you
successful
might have
people.
just kind of picked up
They're
randomly?
normal people. I did this in football. I would look at a guy, yo, he's a Division I football player. He played at this thing. And then I would meet him. I'm like, dude, you're like a human. I remember I met Odell Beckham, Colin Kaepernick, all these dudes at Exos. And I thought NFL guys like lived in hyperbaric chambers. Like I didn't think they were like human. And then he was like playing ping pong, and he like looked like a normal. I'm like, wait, you're like a normal human, but you're on TV and like you do all this shit. In the business sense, whoever it is, dude, humans are humans. Don't put anyone on a pedestal. They get insecure, they get nervous, they get anxiety. Don't put anyone on a pedestal. Double down on yourself. And when you have momentum, don't stop. Double down when you got the momentum. Yeah, this was awesome, man. Yeah, dude. We're gonna take shit over. Appreciate you having me, brother. Be good.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree with that. Like having a great Yeah, dude, I totally agree with that. Like having a great everyone always talks about having a great morning routine and starting your day off strong, but I totally everyone always talks about having a great morning routine and starting your day off strong, but I totally believe that ending your day to set up for the next day is really where that kind of separates you from a lot of other people. And that's awesome that you guys are partnering with the Aura Ring. So do you currently use that? Because I was going to ask you how you do some of your own self metric tracking, really where that kind of separates you from a lot of other people. And that's awesome that you guys are partnering with the Aura Ring. So do you currently use that? Because I was going to ask you how you do some of your own self metric tracking. Yeah, I love that. I have a good buddy of mine who's going. Yeah, I love that. I have a good buddy of mine who's going to be on the podcast soon, Dr. Tyler, and he specializes in doing be on the podcast soon, Dr. Tyler, and he specializes in doing blood work, but he does it for a supplement standpoint. Doing blood work, but he does it for a supplement standpoint. So he helps people figure out exactly which supplements kind of work best with him and or like with their bodies and stuff like that. So he helps people figure out exactly which supplements kind of work best with him and or like with their bodies and stuff like that. Do you where do you kind of stand on the world of supplements and blood work with that? Do you where do you kind of stand on the world of supplements and blood work with that kind of stuff? With that kind of stuff. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, dude, I love that you get. Oh, dude, I love that you get so individualized with everybody and each person. That being said, so individualized with everybody and each person. That being said, man, I want to be courteous at the time. I know we're kind of close here, but what what do people dead man? I want to be courteous at the time. I know we're kind of close here, but what do people do if they want to reach out to you and if they want to start working with you? Not just lacrosse. Do if they want to reach out to you and if they want to start working with you? Not just lacrosse too, right? You still take on other athletes, or are you just solely doing lacrosse? Too, right? You still take on other athletes, or are you just solely doing lacrosse? Yeah, man, love that. It goes right back to the whole surrounding yourself. Yeah, man, love that. It goes right back to the whole surrounding yourself with winners. So you got to be in it to really want to see some gains and results. Yeah, man, I appreciate you hopping to see some gains and results. Yeah, man, I appreciate you hopping on and taking this time to share with me today. You got any last words of wisdom you care to on and taking this time to share with me today? You got any last words of wisdom you care to share with people? Share with people? Dude, I love that so much, and I appreciate you. Dude, I love that so much, and I appreciate you for hopping on, man. And thank you so much, and looking forward to you for hopping on, man. And thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing what happens in the next year or so. I just see you guys are just amplifying success over seeing what happens in the next year or so. I just see you guys are just amplifying success over there, and I'm excited to see where it goes. All right, man. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon. There, and I'm excited to see where it goes. All right, man. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.